Welcome to Doha, the capital and largest city of Qatar. Today, the 2022 World Cup host welcomes FC Bayern Munich. The newly crowned club World Cup champion is headed back to the desert for a fourth consecutive year. I am going to follow their training camp this week and I invite you to come along with me. They are about to land, so let's head to the airport.
Arriving by private plane from Munich, the majority of the 27-man Bayern squad arrived in Doha on the first Sunday of the new year. After a bus ride to the hotel, Guardiola didn't wait long to hold his first training session, the first of 2 sessions per day, plus a press conference after lunch. And despite a record-breaking start to the defence of their Bundesliga crown and first victory in the Club World Cup, Guardiola said that he and his squad still had lots of work to do.
We have to work on everything, not just on the physical aspects, because that without tactics is useless, in the same way that we're working on endurance without the ball. Well, that's useless too. We're trying everything in the same way we did in our first 5 months. We're especially looking at getting better mentally. It's like every good team in Europe, we have to improve.
First opportunity to do so came on a bright and early Monday morning, and an unusually rainy day in the desert.
Even long-term injured Holger Badstuber came along on this trip, as did Arjen Robben and Bastian Schweinsteiger, who are still practicing individually. Schweinsteiger seems to have come back from his second ankle injury since the summer with more confidence than ever.
Injured for the last 2 months of 2013, Schweinsteiger was only fit enough though to train on his own.
Yeah, I know my qualities when I'm 100% fit and healthy, and then you're more relaxed. But of course, I would have liked to train with the team from day one, but sometimes you can't.
Frustration too for Robben, who unusually for him had almost managed to avoid injury throughout the whole of the first half of the campaign.
Of course, it's annoying to train individually, but it's all about getting back in shape too. And I really prefer working with the ball in a big group, though. It's much more fun than running around by myself. But lucky for me, I'm not doing it alone anymore.
As the week went on, Robben was still alone, but Schweinsteiger rejoined the team for some of the afternoon sessions, which brought a different player into focus. Franck Ribéry didn't win the FIFA Ballon d'Or, but the Frenchman clearly stood out in a year when Bayern became Bundesliga, European and World Club champions.
I'm impressed by his huge heart. I'm impressed by his defensive work. A player of that caliber is working hard to help his teammates. I've never seen that of such a player before. He's fighting for his team and the club. He's an amazing player. It's an honor for me to be coaching him at this time. I hope that I can help him a little in becoming an even better player.
In diesem Moment seine Trainer zu sein, so ich hoffe ein bisschen ihm zu helfen, ein bisschen besser spielen.
But never a club to rest on their laurels. Bayern have always had an eye on poaching talent from their most dangerous rivals. And with this in mind, Bayern already have their sights set on next season, with the official announcement of an expected new signing in the summer.
Robert Lewandowski has decided to join Bayern next season. After Mario Götze, that makes him already the second transfer coming from Dortmund to Bayern.
Even better for Bayern is that the Bundesliga's joint top scorer this season will arrive on a free transfer. Guardiola was coy, though, about speaking about the move.
Karl-Heinz Rummenigge had already talked about the transfer. I understand that you want to hear my opinion about him, but I'm certain that wouldn't be fair for my team or Jurgen Klopp. So it's better to say nothing for the moment. I'm happy we'll have him next year, and well, next year I can talk about him freely and talk about the new situation with him being within the squad.
Now, the real question that brings up is what will happen to Mario Mandzukic? For the time being, Guardiola has never played with 2 strikers, and Mario Mandzukic is the real striker. So will he stay? What does Guardiola have to say about that?
Hij is een sterke speler.
Mario's a really strong player. He was the top scorer for this team last season, and he's our top scorer this season. Since I've been here, he's been really crucial for us, especially when we didn't play well. We scored in those matches, and that's helped us win with these goals. That said, he's a great player, an important player. He has a contract, and he'll stay here.
Maybe the question for the coming season isn't so much whether the two can play together, as Bayern are always fighting on several fronts during the season. At least that's the view of central defender Dante.
Over the last couple of years, Bayern has managed to pick up a couple of great players, but it wasn't so much about the individual and having 11 good players, but more so about having a strong team overall. So even if they won't be playing together, the fact that both of them are in the team, together with Claudio Pizarro as well, makes us a lot stronger. That's what makes the difference in the past. A strong group of 20, 22 players, and not just 11.
And with that, the camp gets into its full swing. And so time to look back now at the past 6 months under their new coach, Guardiola.
Under Jupp Heynckes, they won the treble and were on top of the world. Since then, with Pep Guardiola, they have reached even higher, winning not only the UEFA Super Cup, but also just recently the Club World Cup, bringing their total to 5 trophies in 2013. Despite this success, Guardiola has taught his players never to be content and instead always strive to improve. They've taken it to heart, also when it comes to analyzing the first part of this season.
We're still competing in 3 competitions and have created a massive gap in the Bundesliga at the top. Well, we can be really happy about that. I think there's still times during games when we weren't doing things too well.
Defender Jerome Boateng went into even more detail.
I think that you can tell that he's taken over a strong team and made us a better group. You can see that in our matches that we're playing, in our passing, in the way that we interpret each other in the different positions. I think there were a couple of games when we didn't play well in the first half of the campaign and only managed to turn it around in the second half of those matches. We also had games when we were leading and ended up conceding stupid goals in the last 10, 15 minutes, or even lose like we did against Man City recently. We can't let that happen next year.
Almost totally dominant both home and abroad in the last 12 months, Bayern are noticeably cautious about losing. Guardiola describes the type of pressure that his players are under.
At the moment, Bayern has a huge squad and the players know that not every one of them can play. They're very smart, the players, so they know that they have to play well, otherwise there'll be somebody else who will be taking their place. So well, that's the best mindset for me, to have this situation, and well, it's important for my players to perform for the remainder of the season.
Well, what was born at the pre-season camp in Trentino this summer has reached stage 2 in Doha. When Guardiola took over, he adapted Bayern's strategy and made changes that some thought unnecessary. But his work has borne fruit, even if the coach thinks he himself still has to adapt to the Bundesliga.
The transition from defence to attack happened so quickly in the Bundesliga. I know that people here love to create an opportunity to score and they want the ball inside the box within 30 seconds. And I like that too, but at the same time, when you just try to attack so quickly and you fail, you immediately find yourself pegged back on the counter-attack. And that's the reason why I prefer to be in control of the ball. And nonetheless, we have to improve our place in the final 10-15 metres inside the box.
Utter domination by possession is what the coach is still after and still wants to perfect. In training sessions lasting 2 hours plus, we followed the coach's every move. And we weren't the only ones, with his mix of English, German and Spanish producing the odd blank look, stare, here and there.
Yeah, he communicates a lot with us individually and as a group, as a team. He's very active on the pitch and moves with us, literally, but we understand it all. It's just his way of working with us in training. He's going back over what we did in the first part of the season so that we understand what we did wrong. He wants us to be as compact in defence as we can and very aggressive when we don't have the ball. It's nothing more than that, and he's only explaining it with many different types of gesture. I think if we don't understand what he was teaching us, we would be playing poorly. Sometimes his exercises and strategies are very complex, and he has to explain them more than once because it's not easy to put them into practice. But we're all doing our best, and I think we're on the right path. He talks to us all, so you can always approach him with questions.
So was this confusion our imagination? Watching sometimes you get the feeling you're dealing with a team in a slump rather than the unbeaten champions. Maybe it's because Guardiola's sessions are more challenging mentally than physically, which is exactly what he said they would be in the beginning.
You have to work hard physically, but football is not just about running around like a headless chicken. There's some thinking involved too. When you put all of that together, it's intense and you need to be focused and you have to stay with it mentally. But that's a good thing and that's what we want to do. And the reason why we want to do that is because, well, as a group, as a team, we want to improve. And that's the way that we like to work. And that's why we want to move forward with this concept.
And apart from losing the German Super Cup, understanding of Guardiola's plan has seen Bayern win the European Super Cup, Club World Cup, and take another commanding lead in the Bundesliga.
Well, this has been a process that we started over the course of the summer. We've now worked together for, what, 6 months now, but we didn't start at 100%. In this process, we've already learned a lot, and the aspects that we learned today are reaching the high level. It's all about developing those aspects now, which are only details that he's teaching us about.
Well, just like last year under new World Club Coach of the Year, Jupp Heynckes, Bayern are trying to lay the foundation for another successful second half of the season in Doha, where Guardiola made his goal clear.
We're trying to win every match, reach every final in every competition to try and win the treble. And of course, we have a big gap in the Bundesliga at the top right now, but we're still very focused and we're eager to stay on this rich and challenging path. The Championship is our first priority, then the Champions League, and then the German Cup.
Newly crowned World Goalkeeper of the Year 2013, Manuel Neuer, who prepared with a 7-meter penalty shootout against kids, knows what the biggest challenge is still to be.
It'll be imperative for us to withstand the pressure of having to win nearly every match now, and that'll be our biggest challenge. Against Arsenal, we have 2 very tough Champions League clashes ahead of us, in which we need to try to advance. Everybody is expecting us to repeat our accomplishments from last year, and that won't be easy by any means.
But if anyone can cope with this form of pressure, it's Bayern Munich. We have had a thorough view of their preparation, and Rafaela was able to draw these conclusions.
1 week at Aspire, Pep's second training camp with Bayern. And what have we learned? Well, first of all, Pep is still the same meticulous worker, being active on the pitch and oftentimes interrupting exercises. Now, his players claim to understand his explanations, although our images might suggest otherwise. Secondly, Pep has taught his players to be more hungry than ever. They are not content with winning, even if it's a title. And that is exactly the mindset that Pep Guardiola has. So what does that mean for 2014? What can we expect from Bayern? Can they go beyond what they accomplished in 2013? Be sure to find out when the Bundesliga season kicks off again with Gladbach against Bayern. See you then.